I've been fighting for safe food for what feels like most of my life.
The fastest growing industry in America right now isn't AI. It's not tech. It's healthcare. The best thing for that industry is a child getting sick.
We are living an experiment in so many ways.
By the stats we're seeing, there's something really dark happening.
We deserve the same safer ingredients other countries get.
We need to shift the American diet to whole, real foods.
We're living in a toxic soup. Just improve the quality of the foods you eat and everything gets better.
Yes.
There's something deeply disturbing about the American food system. American food companies are exploiting our health by using ingredients that are banned or heavily regulated in other countries. Correct. One set of ingredients that are safer overseas and another one here in the United States that's more toxic. Let me give you some examples. In the UK, McDonald's French fries has 4 ingredients. Here in the United States, it's 11, including the defoaming agent called dimethyl polysiloxane, an ingredient that can be preserved with formaldehyde, a neurotoxin. You would never suspect a brown square cereal like General Mills Cinnamon Toast Crunch to have an artificial dye on it, but it does. Here in the US, it contains class 4 caramel color linked to cancer. In Europe, it doesn't. Coca-Cola in France, Germany, Spain, the UK, and Italy is made with real sugar. But here in America, we get Coke with genetically engineered high fructose corn syrup, which is sprayed with heavy doses of Roundup weed killer linked to cancer. Cheetos in the US has yellow number 6, which has been shown to give rats tumors and in labs turn their skin transparent. In the UK, it's colored with paprika. Red Gatorade in Germany is colored naturally with sweet potatoes and carrots, but in America, we get red 40 and caramel color. A box of Canadian, Australian, European, and even Indian Kellogg's Fruit Loops is naturally colored with fruit and vegetable juice. But in America, our kids get 4 artificial dyes first thing in the morning. When Europe found that an artificial food dye caused hyperactivity in children, they issued cigarette-type warning labels. Kellogg's did not want to put that on Fruit Loops, so they voluntarily removed the dyes. Why wouldn't an American company use the safest version of their products for all customers? It's the same reason why food companies are allowed to use over 10,000 food additives in the US, while in Europe, it's only 400. This is why I became a food activist. We can't be the greatest nation on earth while we're being systematically poisoned for profit by our American food companies. The food industry is deliberately engineering food made full of man-made chemicals because they are cheaper than real food. They are making what God gave us to eat on earth and making it less nutritious, more addictive, so we can't stop eating it, and this is making us sicker than ever. With 1 in 9 American children now diagnosed with ADHD, why do we allow these products to be sold in our schools? How can we raise the brightest children in this world, our future leaders, while we're polluting their little brains first thing in the morning by their teachers? Are we just supposed to Adderall ourselves out of this, or are we going to rise up and do something about it? When I was in the Senate giving testimony with Robert F. Kennedy Jr., he said something that hit me like a ton of bricks. He said, if a foreign nation did this to our country, we would consider it an act of war. It's un-American. Yet, are we just going to sit back and take it? Wait, I don't hear you. Are we just going to sit back and take it? We don't have to take it anymore. The truth is getting out, and we can stand up to these food giants. We took over 400,000 signed petitions to Kellogg's headquarters asking them to remove these dyes, and they told us to get off their lawn. So you know what we did? We started a national boycott, and now Fruit Loop sales is down 54% in the last 12 weeks. And just today, their stock price is down 14%. Imagine if everybody in this stadium woke up tomorrow and said, no, thank you, Kellogg's. I won't let you poison my body when you make safer products for other countries. What if you held them accountable and said, I'm going to take control of my health. I'm going to read ingredient labels. I'm going to join the Food Babe Army. I'm going to choose a breakfast without artificial dyes because I'm done with you. We have a unique opportunity for the first time in history to undo this mess the food industry has done to us. We have a massive grassroots movement building, and it's bigger than ever. It's going to take me, it's going to take Callie, it's going to take Paul, and it's going to take all of you out there to get us out of this mess. We have to keep our voices loud if we're going to save our health. The FDA is driving us into the gates of unhealthy hell with big food, big pharma, and big chem all riding in the passenger seat and calling the shots. Just 2 weeks ago, the head of the FDA, Dr. Robert Califf, admitted he wouldn't criticize the food industry. If the head of the FDA won't do it, who will? It's going to take leaders who are brave enough to tell processed food companies to stop putting profits over our health. California just passed a bill to ban dyes in schools. It was a unanimous decision. All Democrats, all Republicans, and lawmakers in 15 other states are also looking at the same. This is the type of leadership we desperately need. President Trump just posted last week about the harmful additives found in American bread that is banned in Europe, a fight we started over 10 years ago petitioning Subway to remove azodicarbonamide, a cancerous compound you find in yoga mats and shoe rubber. Never in my life have I seen this kind of top-down leadership for these issues. It's this historic. You don't have to sit back and take it anymore. We, the people, can change this food system together. This is our moment. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we please hear it for Donald Trump and Robert F. Kennedy for bringing what Bonnie's saying to the top of the national conversation. I know many of you were there. It was a historic moment in American politics, a turning point event just miles away, where Bobby Kennedy came out for the first time and grasped arms with Donald Trump and said, let's make America healthy again. From my vantage point, I think that day will go down in history books as a new coalition forming in American politics. You saw it with millions of voters coming to the Trump coalition for the first time, closing the gender gap, independents, young people, Latinos, African Americans. Donald Trump brought them together, and I think a lot of it is because this universal political theory about protecting kids. There's a war right now on kids. If you just look around, the biggest industries in the country profit from a sick child and lose money when a child is thriving. The American Medical Association, which is a pharma lobbying group and creates codes that underlie 20% of our economy, all of our standards of care, to this day, right now, they say that a 2-year-old, it's appropriate for them to have gender-affirming surgery. That is the judgment. That is the judgment of the organization that we outsource our billing codes to. Still, to this day, our medical authorities say that school lockdowns was a good idea. Jay Bhattacharya, who is now Trump's choice to lead the NIH, was blacklisted. Stanford tried to fire him. Obesity is a scourge among teens. 50% of teens are overweight or obese. And just recently, the American Academy of Pediatrics said that Ozempic should be the first-line defense, lifetime Ozempic jabs for 12-year-olds. ADHD is skyrocketing, and that same organization, the American Medical Association, says Adderall, which is one molecule away from crystal meth, should be the frontline defense for a fidgety kid. That's 15% of high school seniors are on Adderall. Pre-diabetes, this news was covered up until after the election, but the Biden administration just announced that 38% of teens now have pre-diabetes, and the standard of care is to prescribe a drug to them. Prescriptions of metformin have gone up double in just the past 5 years. Infertility is skyrocketing among Americans. Sperm count's down 50% in a generation. 25% of women are suffering with PCOS. And the answer from the medical system is more drugs. Still, to this day, the American Medical Association says that a 6-month-old should get a COVID jab. And parents are called war criminals for even questioning the 72 shots that are recommended for kids, even though there's varying and many different policies around the world. We can't ask questions. Ladies and gentlemen, a new coalition is forming. Donald Trump has brought voices like Vani, voices like Courtney Sloan, like Alex Clark to the top of the national conversation. Vivek and Elon Musk are talking about how healthcare and government efficiency go hand in hand. We're going bankrupt as a country because we're getting so sick. We spend 3 times more per capita on healthcare than Europe and live 7 years less than most European countries because we're getting so sick. And leaders in independent media, from Tucker Carlson to Joe Rogan to Charlie Kirk to Megyn Kelly, are talking about this issue every single day. We are on the verge of a golden age of health, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, the Biden administration, imagine this, they're scrambling to listen to Vani and ban food dyes on attack the 10,000 chemicals in our food that are banned in every other country in preparation for President Trump. President Trump is forcing that. President Trump, and I've seen it the past 20 days, he's giving a clear directive to Bobby Kennedy and the HHS. It's extraordinary. There's not one word of ideology in these meetings. Many on the left won't believe this, but Donald Trump is going to usher in a golden age of science. We're going to get back to science. He's going to instruct the NIH to have no ideology. He's going to instruct the NIH with one simple directive: figure out why our kids are getting sick. He's going to usher in a new age of transparency. We need to trust the American patient, not infantilize you guys, but trust you guys to get the accurate information with no fear or favor, and let you, as the American patient, make your own decision. There's going to be a golden age of deregulation and conflict of interest reduction at the FDA. The MAHA agenda is a golden age where everyone here will have access to great therapeutics with AI-enabled doctors in their pockets, to an ability to steer the $4.5 trillion of healthcare away from foreign-owned and Chinese-owned pharmaceutical companies and to American farmers. It's going to be incentivizing sunlight, food, exercise, meditation. We are getting sick because of interconnected chronic disease crisis that's tied to these basic things that our medical system has lost sight of. And again, Donald Trump's directive is twofold: give you guys the truth and let you make your own decisions. Ladies and gentlemen, can we please hear it one more time how much we are grateful for Donald Trump and Robert Kennedy's focus on making America healthy again? They need our support. Thank you.
What is up, AmFest? It is so good to be here with all of you today. It is so good to be here with thousands of people who saw the direction this country was going in and took a stand for change. I have 2 things to talk to you about today. One of them is very dark and sad, but the other is hopeful and full of power. I am a traditionally trained medical doctor. My name is Paul Saladino. I went to medical school at the University of Arizona in Tucson. What's up? In 4 years of medical school, I had exactly 0 courses in nutrition. There was no discussion throughout 4 years of medical school about what is actually causing humans to get sick. To even apply to medical school, I had to do 4 years of undergrad at the University of William & Mary. I studied chemistry, no discussion of nutrition, no requirements of nutrition to actually apply to medical school. Before medical school, I was a PA. I worked as a physician assistant in cardiology. PA school, 4 years in cardiology as a PA, no discussion of nutrition, no real discussion of what is making people sick at a root cause level. I was literally told by the cardiologist that I worked with, think here, think in the heart box. Do not think of the whole body. In the Western medical system, we are badly broken. We are not serving patients well. After medical school, I went to residency at the University of Washington in Seattle, one of the most prestigious universities in the country, one of the highest rated hospitals in the country for primary care. No discussion of nutrition, no discussion of food or food quality, and no discussion of what is actually making patients sick. What I was told, what I was charged with throughout my medical education was memorizing thousands of drugs, understanding their side effects, and understanding when to prescribe them. The medical system is badly broken, and I've been through it. And I think this is not surprising. Pharmaceuticals, look, they have a role in our society. They're not entirely bad, but the pharmaceutical companies are wildly invested in medical education, in medical research. At the level of the FDA, at the level of the USDA, there is profound corruption. 19 out of the 20 members of the USDA Dietary Guidelines Committee have ties to the food industry and pharma. What is going on here? This is why we are so sick as humans. This is why we are so sick. But there is hope here. There is a ray of light. There is something that is better. After seeing all of this, I eventually left Western medicine. I don't practice Western medicine as a doctor. I became so disillusioned that 5 years ago I started making no-cost, zero-cost content on the internet. I became an internet doctor. And now I make content. I make educational content. And the goal of that content is to just give people information, to empower all of you to be able to make yourselves healthy again. What I have seen in those 5 years is profound. Many of you have experienced this. I have met so many of you at this conference who have already told me your stories, have already told me how you have healed yourselves by changing the quality of the foods you eat. This is incredible. I have seen so many people, thousands of people in those 5 years, heal from diseases that Western medicine taught me and my colleagues were incurable. Diabetes, obesity, depression, dementia, insomnia, infertility, autoimmune conditions, autoimmune skin conditions like eczema, psoriasis, thyroid conditions, GI conditions, Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, rheumatoid arthritis, multiple sclerosis. These are profoundly scary words in Western medicine. These are diseases that cannot be cured, and yet many of you have cured these diseases. I've met you at this conference, and I've seen thousands of people do this. And so this is the hope. The tragedy is that Western medicine is broken. Here is the hope. Here's what I will tell you based on my personal experience. You have a God-given birthright to radical, profound health. You have a God-given birthright to that. And if you change the quality of the food that you eat and the way that you are living, you can heal yourself. That is what I want you to know. If you take nothing else away from this short talk that we have about health, about making America healthy again, remember that whatever you are suffering from, if any of you have chronic illness, any of the things that I mentioned earlier, and you are suffering and you are without help, if you are without hope, maybe your doctor's telling you that you need to take medications, remember this, you have a God-given birthright to health. Your body will heal itself if you simply change the quality of the foods that you are eating and how you are living as a human every day in and day out. I have seen it time and time again. I know there are people in this room who have done this. Let me hear some noise. Who has changed their diet? Yes. And I want all of you that haven't changed your diet, that are still suffering, to hear your members of this audience, to hear your community tell you this. This is possible. Do not despair. The Western medical system will probably not give you this information, but if you change your diet, if you change the way you live, you can heal yourself. And it's not complicated, guys. It's very simple. Eat meat, eat plants. Do not eat things that your great-grandmother would not recognize. Do not eat seed oils. That's engine lubricant. It should have stayed as engine lubricant, right? Do not eat food dyes. Do not eat ultra-processed foods. Do not let convenience undermine your path to health and profound life in this life. And so this is the most important part of this whole talk. All of us in this room have a profound, fundamental birthright, God-given to be healthy, and all of us have things that we need to do in the world. We have to do good in the world. We need to be healthy as Americans to do the most good in the world. And you have the ability to make yourself healthy. And you do that by changing the food that you eat. So understand you have profound power in every choice that you make every day, and do not despair. If you have a chronic illness, if you're still suffering, change the way you eat, and the quality of your life will change forever. Everyone in your community will get healthier. Your parents, your siblings, your children. You will show up better for every single person in your life. And this is what I wish for all of you, because we all have very important work to do in this world. May we do it well, and may we make America healthy again. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thanks, Doc.
Thank you. Yeah. Now let's just go. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Thanks, guys.